A father's love, a daughter's secret, and the courage to heal. The aroma of cinnamon and oatmeal filled the small kitchen as Daniel stirred the pot on the stove. He glanced at the clock, knowing it was time to call Savannah down. She would need to eat quickly to catch the bus for school. "Savannah, sweetheart, breakfast is ready," he called. A few moments later, Savannah appeared at the doorway, her blonde hair tied back in a messy ponytail. She looked tired, her small frame a reminder of the struggles she'd faced over the past few years. "Oatmeal again?" she grumbled as she slid into her chair at the table. "Why can't we ever have pancakes or waffles like other families?" Daniel smiled, though his expression was tinged with sadness. "You know why, honey. We've got to keep your blood sugar steady. The doctor said this is what's best for you." Savannah sighed, stirring her bowl without much enthusiasm. At just 11 years old, she had learned to live with the limitations of type 1 diabetes. It wasn't easy for a child who craved the carefree life her friends enjoyed. Birthdays were bittersweet, with their cakes and candies reminding her of everything she couldn't have. After a few moments of silence, Savannah spoke up. "Dad, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?" Daniel paused, caught off guard. Leaning against the counter, he considered her question. "I think I'd want the power to heal people. Imagine all the lives you could change." Savannah's eyes lit up. "I'd stop time," she said with a mischievous grin. "Then I could sneak into a candy store and eat everything I wanted without worrying about my blood sugar." Her giggle filled the room, and Daniel laughed along with her. For a moment, the heaviness in the air lifted. But as he watched his daughter's smile fade, his heart ached. He wished he could give her the life she dreamed of, free from the constant monitoring, needles, and dietary restrictions. That afternoon, Savannah returned from school with an excited expression and a brightly colored flyer in her hand. "Dad, look at this," she said, thrusting it toward him. "There's a workshop after school tomorrow about finding your purpose and becoming stronger. Maggie says it's amazing." Daniel studied the flyer. It was bold and colorful, filled with phrases like, "Unlock your inner strength and discover your true potential." It promised to help children overcome challenges and find their path in life. The workshop was led by someone named Mr. Wyatt. "This looks different," Daniel said cautiously. "Who is this Mr. Wyatt? Is he a teacher at your school?" Savannah shook her head. "No, but Maggie says he's really inspiring. Can I go, Dad? Please?" Daniel hesitated. His instincts told him to be wary, but he didn't want to stifle Savannah's excitement. She had been through so much, and he wanted her to feel like she could still experience the joys of being a kid. "All right," he said finally, "but promise me you'll be careful." "I promise," Savannah said, her face lighting up with excitement. The next day, Savannah attended the workshop, held in a small building behind the local church. Inside, she found a group of children seated in a circle, their faces attentive as they listened to a man with a calm, commanding presence. Mr. Wyatt stood at the center, his voice smooth and reassuring. "Welcome," he said, looking around the room. "You're here because you're special. Each of you has a gift, a strength inside you waiting to be unlocked." Savannah sat entranced as Mr. Wyatt spoke. He talked about overcoming challenges, finding purpose, and letting go of fear. For a girl who often felt defined by her illness, his words were a beacon of hope. She left the workshop feeling empowered, as though she had discovered a new part of herself. Over the weeks that followed, Savannah became more involved in the group. She began wearing a pendant shaped like a sun within a triangle, a symbol Mr. Wyatt said represented enlightenment and purpose. At home, she grew more secretive, spending hours in her room writing in a journal. The warm, open conversations she used to have with Daniel became rare. One evening, as Daniel tidied Savannah's room, he found the journal tucked beneath her pillow. Flipping through its pages, he saw drawings of the pendant and notes about letting go of fear and changing the world. One entry caught his eye. "Mr. Wyatt says I'm destined for something greater. I just have to trust him." Daniel's heart sank. He had supported Savannah's involvement in the workshop, thinking it might be a positive outlet for her. But now he wondered if he had made a mistake. Who was this man, and what was he telling his daughter? Determined to uncover the truth, Daniel reached out to Rachel, a close friend and investigative journalist. Rachel was known for exposing fraudulent organizations and manipulative groups. When Daniel shared Savannah's story, Rachel's expression grew serious. "This Mr. Wyatt sounds like trouble," she said. "I've seen groups like this before. They prey on vulnerability, especially in children. Let me help you look into this." Daniel hesitated. He didn't want to overreact or frighten Savannah unnecessarily. But deep down, he knew Rachel was right. "Okay," he said finally. "Let's figure out what's going on." Meanwhile, Savannah's involvement in the group deepened. One day, Mr. Wyatt handed her a sealed envelope after a meeting. "This contains your mission," he said, his tone solemn. "It's time for you to take the next step." Savannah felt a mix of excitement and apprehension as she clutched the envelope. She admired Mr. Wyatt and wanted to prove herself worthy of his trust. But a small voice inside her whispered that something about this didn't feel right. At dinner that evening, Daniel noticed Savannah holding the envelope tightly. "What's that?" he asked casually. "Just something for school," she replied quickly, slipping it into her bag. Daniel knew he couldn't wait any longer. The next day, he and Rachel followed Savannah to the workshop. Peering through the window, they saw Mr. Wyatt addressing the group. "You are the chosen ones," he said. "Together, we'll build a new world free from pain and suffering." Rachel's expression hardened. "He's manipulating them," she whispered. "We need to act fast." Without hesitation, Daniel stepped into the room. "Savannah," he called out, his voice steady but firm, "come here." The children turned, their faces filled with confusion and fear. Mr. Wyatt remained calm, offering Daniel a serene smile. "Mr. Harris, your daughter is here because she believes in something greater. Why would you take that away from her?" "She's here because you've manipulated her," Daniel shot back. Rachel stepped forward, holding up her press credentials. "Mr. Wyatt, your activities are under investigation. The authorities have been notified." Within minutes, police arrived, dispersing the group and taking Mr. Wyatt in for questioning. Savannah ran to Daniel, tears streaming down her face. "Dad, I didn't know. I'm so sorry." Daniel knelt down and wrapped his arms around her. "It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now. That's all that matters." In the weeks that followed, Savannah began to heal. She returned to her journaling, but this time her entries were filled with gratitude and hope. She apologized to Daniel repeatedly, and each time he reassured her. "You're my daughter," he said. "Nothing matters more to me than you." Rachel became a regular presence in their lives, often joining them for dinner and sharing stories from her investigative work. Her warmth and humor brought a new lightness to their home, and her friendship helped Daniel begin to open his heart again. One evening, as the three of them sat on the porch watching the sunset, Savannah asked, "Dad, do you think people can really change?" Daniel looked at her and smiled. "I think they can, especially when they have love and support." Savannah nodded thoughtfully. "I'm glad you didn't give up on me." "Never," Daniel said firmly. "That's what family is for." This story reminds us of the lengths a parent will go to protect their child. Daniel's unwavering love and courage saved Savannah from a dangerous path. Rachel's role highlights the importance of leaning on others during challenging times, and Savannah's journey shows that even in our darkest moments, there's always a way back to light and hope. If this story moved you, we invite you to subscribe to Life Stories 365. Our channel is dedicated to sharing inspiring tales of love, resilience, and redemption. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and leave a comment below. Together, let's spread messages of hope and compassion to the world. Thank you for being part of our community. We can't wait to share more stories with you soon.